Beneath the surface of our calm and familiar world lies a force so powerful, so ancient, and so unpredictable that it has shaped continents, erased cities, and carved out the very land we stand on. Volcanoes, massive mountains of fire, ash, and molten rock, are some of the most awe-inspiring and terrifying phenomena found on Earth. But beyond the destruction they can unleash lies a story of creation, mystery, and the complex beauty of a living planet. Volcanoes are not just explosions of lava, they are the Earth's pressure valves. Deep below the crust, magma, molten rock, is formed under extreme temperatures and pressure. When the pressure becomes too much, the magma seeks a way to escape. It rises through cracks and weaknesses in the crust, sometimes slowly, sometimes with catastrophic force. This is when a volcano erupts. The lava we see on the surface is just the final stage of a long and invisible process that begins miles beneath our feet. What's particularly strange is that magma can stay trapped underground for hundreds, even thousands of years, building pressure in silence, until one day, the mountain breathes fire. Most volcanoes are not isolated, they cluster in specific regions of the planet. The most famous of these is the Ring of Fire, a massive horseshoe-shaped zone that encircles the Pacific Ocean. Here, the Earth's tectonic plates meet, grind, and collide, creating the perfect conditions for volcanic activity. This ring contains about 75% of the world's active volcanoes, stretching from New Zealand to Japan, across Alaska, and down through the Americas. Countries like Indonesia, Chile, and the Philippines are volcanic hotspots, living in constant tension with the mountains that could erupt at any moment. Throughout history, volcanoes have dramatically altered the course of human civilization. In the year 79 AD, Mount Vesuvius erupted, burying the Roman city of Pompeii in a thick layer of ash and stone. Yet, volcanoes are not only destroyers. They are also creators. The Hawaiian Islands were born from underwater volcanic eruptions that built landmass over millions of years. Fertile volcanic soil, rich in nutrients like potassium and phosphorus, supports lush agriculture in places like Sicily and Java. In fact, many of the world's most densely populated regions are near active volcanoes, proof of just how life-giving these deadly giants can be. Not all volcanoes behave the same. Some are quiet giants, like the shield volcanoes of Hawaii, which release lava slowly and steadily. Others are dramatic and explosive, like the stratovolcanoes of the Pacific Northwest. There are even mud volcanoes that ooze thick, bubbling sludge instead of molten rock, found in Azerbaijan and parts of Indonesia. And then there are ice-covered volcanoes in Antarctica, where eruptions melt glacial ice and release sudden, devastating floods known as jokullops, a word that, fittingly, comes from Iceland. Volcanoes are not unique to Earth. On Mars stands Olympus Mons, the tallest volcano in the solar system. It rises 22 kilometers high, nearly 3 times the height of Mount Everest, and is so wide that its base would cover the entire country of France. On Jupiter's moon Io, volcanoes spew sulfur instead of lava, constantly reshaping the moon's colorful and toxic surface. These extraterrestrial volcanoes remind us that volcanic activity is not just a terrestrial phenomenon, but a universal one, an expression of planetary life across the cosmos. Despite centuries of study, volcanoes remain incredibly difficult to predict. Scientists monitor them using an array of tools. Seismometers detect small tremors, gas sensors measure sulfur dioxide emissions, satellites track surface temperature and deformation. But even with all this technology, volcanoes often erupt with little warning. In 1980, Mount St. Helens in Washington gave clear signals of impending eruption, steam vents, earthquakes, and swelling of its northern flank. Yet when it finally exploded, it did so laterally, in an unexpected sideways blast that leveled forests and claimed 57 lives. This unpredictability is part of what makes volcanoes so dangerous, and so fascinating. They defy control. They demand respect. And they constantly remind us of the dynamic world beneath our feet. Once the lava cools, life begins to return. Hardened flows crack and weather over time, allowing mosses and lichens to take hold. Slowly, ecosystems regenerate. Volcanic ash, once deadly, becomes the foundation for future forests and farmlands. Some of the most biodiverse environments on Earth are volcanic in origin. Even underwater, hydrothermal vents powered by volcanoes support entire ecosystems based on chemosynthesis, rather than sunlight. In the end, volcanoes are not simply geological phenomena. They are storytellers. Through them, Earth speaks, of its past, of its power, and of its potential. They are at once terrifying and beautiful, destructive and generous, silent and deafening. They are reminders that the ground beneath us is not still, and never truly silent. As long as the earth breathes, the fire inside will burn. And the volcano, that mighty mountain of flame, will wait patiently, until it speaks again.